The next event that I'm going to talk about is a vehicle crash. 3 people died needlessly on Highway 60 east of Lake Wells and west of the county line on a 2-lane highway. Today I'm going to show you one of the person that passed away. And this is not something we normally do, but it's important to understand. This crash occurred, this triple fatality, at just before 10 p.m. on Saturday night. Hannah Weiser, 22, was driving a vehicle, and she was westbound on Highway 60. One of the witnesses to this crash said about a mile before the crash, he had to slow down because the car she was driving was traveling in excess of 100 miles an hour, and he had to slow down so that she could get back in line from passing him before she hit a semi-truck head-on. So less than a mile from this scene where she died in a head-on collision that she created, we have a witness that said, I literally had to slam on brakes and take an evasive maneuver so she could get out of the way from hitting a semi head-on. She continued westbound, and a mile later, while driving her black Ford Flex, she chose to pass another vehicle. As she was passing that vehicle, driving reckless, and we anticipate in about the same 100 miles an hour, she hit a Ford F-150 head-on. When she hit that vehicle head-on, she killed 2 wonderful people. The people she killed were Luis Rodriguez, who was 54, and Carmen Maldonado, who was 52. They had a 3-year-old child in the back seat, their grandchild. They were returning home from a day at Busch Gardens with their grandchild, minding their own business in their travel lane, doing what was right. She passed this vehicle, it's vehicle 3 in the crash, and hit this pickup truck head-on, killing both grandparents and killing herself. The other folks who are from Great Britain were also involved in the crash. They couldn't get out of the way. They were all treated and released from the hospital. The 3-year-old was air-flighted to Arnold Palmer and was subsequently released the next day with minor injuries. They had the child on a concussion protocol because of the viciousness of the crash. But Grandma and Granddad, quite appropriately, had the baby seat belted the right way in the back seat. That's why he survived. But did I tell you that Carmen was also a school teacher at a school in St. Lucie County? Right now, at this time, Carmen should have been in class teaching children. Carmen and her husband were doing the right thing by taking the grandchild to Busch Gardens for a great day, and I understand it was a great day. Hannah had been at the beach that day, was returning, and she was wearing a bikini at the time of the crash. We've talked to family members, and the family members said they know of no emergencies why she would have needed to have been driving that fast or that reckless. Hannah also left a 3-year-old child without a mother. The 3-year-old was not in the car, but Hannah has a 3-year-old child that now has to grow up without mom. All because of her recklessness, her excessive speed, and We don't know about drugs or alcohol yet. That will be part of the examination that's done by the medical examiner. That will be forthcoming later. But we did find a crushed beer can in her lap that was impaled into her leg. Whether that was an old beer can from in the car or a current beer can, we can't say at this stage of the investigation. It's sad for everyone, but this lady caused the crash that killed her and killed two wonderful people, to include a school teacher. This is one of those crashes that absolutely, unequivocally did not have to happen. This is one of those crashes that she just barely avoided a head-on a mile down the road and still continued to drive that way and still continued to pass cars into head-on traffic. We don't have all the answers. We will have all the scientific answers at the conclusion of the investigation, because our traffic homicide people are simply the very best. And we've got one of our most senior traffic homicide detectives working on this case. But it breaks our heart for Hannah's family, and certainly for the innocent family as well, because none of them deserved to die that night. But that's what happens when you get behind a car, when you do stupid things at high rates of speed. For whatever reason, bad things can happen, and this is one example of that. Are there any questions about this? Okay. Thank you very much. Take care.